So have you ever really wondered how someone goes from just dreaming about a luxury car to bam, suddenly they're holding the keys? We dug into a ton of these success stories, and you know what? A really fascinating and repeatable pattern started to show up. So let's break down what people who say they've manifested their dream car are actually doing.
Okay, let's just start with this. A dream car in 3 days? I mean, that sounds pretty wild, right? Almost impossible. But here's the thing. Stories just like this are way more common than you'd think. So, what on earth is the process that leads to such a specific and crazy fast result? Let's get into the very first step.
All right, the first pattern we saw, and this was consistent across the board, is that this process never starts with a vague wish like, I'd love a nice car. Nope, it begins with what is basically a mental blueprint, and is incredibly detailed. We're talking extreme, laser-focused clarity.
And just look at the level of detail here. It's not just a Range Rover. It's a white Range Rover Sport with a black top. It's not just an Audi. It's one with a very specific faux leather interior. In every story we looked at, from the exact model and year right down to the color, the desire is defined with this kind of razor-sharp precision.
And there's a real psychological reason why this works so well. When you get this specific, you're essentially programming a part of your brain called the reticular activating system, or RAS for short. Think of it as your brain's spam filter. It's the reason why the moment you decide you want, say, a blue car, you suddenly start seeing blue cars everywhere you look. They were always there, but now your brain is actively pointing them out to you because you told it, hey, this is important.
So, that's the blueprint. But what comes next is where things really start to get deep. Once that super specific goal is locked in, the real internal work begins. And this is all about mentally rehearsing and actually living in the reality of owning that car long before the keys are anywhere near your hand.
A lot of this thinking can be traced back to this fascinating 20th century philosopher named Neville Goddard. He had a concept he called assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. The whole point isn't just to think about the car. It's to generate the actual, genuine feeling of having it, and to do it so often that it starts to feel completely normal, completely real to your subconscious mind. So, how do people actually do this? Well, we saw 3 very common techniques pop up again and again. First, vision boards, but not just any car, a picture of the exact one they want. Second, multi-sensory visualization. So they're not just seeing it in their mind's eye, they're imagining the smell of the new leather, the feel of the steering wheel under their hands, the sound of the engine roaring to life. And third, a lot of people use scripting. They'll literally write in a journal about their day, including driving their new car, but they write it all in the past tense, as if it's already a memory.
In this quote from Neville Goddard just nails the whole point. The goal isn't to sit back and watch a movie of yourself with the car. It's to mentally step inside the dream, to be the one behind the wheel, making that future moment happen right now in your imagination.
Okay, so you've got the mental blueprint, check. You're doing the internal rehearsal, check. But the process does not stop there. This next part is absolutely crucial because it's what grounds this whole thing in physical reality. This is not a passive, sit on your couch and wish kind of activity. In all these stories, a pattern of taking what are often called inspired actions starts to emerge. Think of these as small, real-world steps that act like a physical bridge. They connect the internal reality you've been building in your mind with your actual day-to-day physical life.
And what do these actions actually look like? Well, people will go and test drive the exact car. They'll just visit dealerships to sit in it, to smell the interior, to feel it. They'll binge watch YouTube reviews of that specific model right before bed. They'll literally stand in their own driveway and just visualize the car parked right there. Now, the point of these actions isn't really to make it happen in a logical way. The point is to close that psychological gap between wanting and having, and to make the idea of owning that car feel totally normal and absolutely attainable.
Now we get to what is maybe the most counterintuitive, and for many people, the hardest part of this whole process. After all this intense focus, all this action, the final stage seems to be about doing the complete opposite, letting go of the obsession and just trusting that the car is on its way.
So this is all about a huge shift in mindset. You've got the desperate mindset, which is constantly worried, checking, asking, when is it going to happen? How is it going to happen? It's focused on the lack of the car, which ironically just pushes it further away. But then there's the detached mindset. This one comes from a place of confident trust. It's a calm feeling of, you know what? I've done the work, it's coming, and that feeling allows unexpected doors to open. And this quote from one of the success stories just perfectly captures this idea. The person said, the moment they learned to be happy without it, the moment they let go of that needy, desperate energy, that's when it showed up. It's a total paradox, right? You have to want it enough to do all the work, but not so much that your attachment to it actually blocks it from coming.
So once that feeling of detachment kicks in, the how it all comes together starts to take care of itself. And this is where things get really fun, because when the car does finally materialize, it's almost never through the straight, predictable path that anyone would have expected.
The logical path, right? This is what we're all taught. You save money for years, you get a loan, you budget, and that works. But in these stories, the car shows up in ways people couldn't have possibly planned. An unexpected work bonus suddenly covers the down payment. The exact model with every feature they wanted pops up on a lease takeover site. Now, obviously, these things still require someone to be in a position to act, but what's interesting is the process itself seems to build the confidence and readiness, so when that opportunity shows up out of the blue, they're ready to jump on it.
So if we were to boil this whole entire process down to just one core idea, it's this. The change happens on the inside first. The feeling of ownership, the mental reality of driving that car, enjoying it, that is fully achieved in their mind and their body before the physical car ever shows up. The outer world, in the end, just rearranges itself to match that new inner reality.
Which really leaves us with one final big thought to chew on. When you look at this entire process, is the real goal getting the car? Or is it the internal transformation, becoming the version of yourself whose reality, whose self-concept just naturally includes a car like that? Something to think about.